Just a few more people popping into the meeting now. I think that's it really on the Teams side. I don't think there's any other features here that we will use today. Maybe I'll do a poll if we get some questions. And yeah, today's session will be about the Norsonic NR140 sound level meter. If you're looking to get the training on the newer meters, so the 145, the NR150, this will be covered in next week's session. So if you haven't had an invite for that and you would like to attend for the NR145, the 150, we'll send that over to you.
Hey.
So just drop us an email back. Hello.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.
Cheers.
And
I got it.
the Larson Davis meters is something that Nick will cover just in a moment. So I'll tell you a little bit about that now. So we've got a new manufacturer that we've introduced at Campbell Associates. We're actually moving to some newer technology from Larson Davis. It's an American brand. They've been around for over 40 years. So we're continuing to supply Norsonic equipment in terms of the support, the calibration, and any repairs and spares that you need. So please reach out to us for this. And but as we know, like in the situation of budgets, the common question to me is, Anthony, how can we save some money? How can we get things cheaper? Why does a charger cost this much? Why can't I have a meter that's more like a smartphone? We've got all these iPhones. Why can't we have something similar in a meter? So that's why we've gone out to the market and picked up this manufacturer, Larson Davis. They're one of the biggest manufacturers of microphones in the world, part of PCB Group. And they make this beautiful meter. And in the future, this is the kind of meter that we'll be supplying if you're looking to upgrade from like an old 140. I think the 140s now are about 20 years old. So yeah, but we're still doing our best to help you and support you. So if you have any questions on the meter, you're stuck, we've got lots of material that I've made over the last, I've been doing this maybe 10 years or more now. So we've got guides on our website. You can have a look on there. We've got them on PDFs that we can email you. If you need any help with the meter, if you email support@campbell-associates.co.uk, then we'll reach out to you. So I'll put that email in the chat now, just while people are coming in. So let's add in support@campbell-associates.co.uk. So just click this mail when you need help, and we'll try and help. Just tell us what the meter is, and we'll do our best to get you back on the road. So on our website, we've got a nice fancy new website just with some of our new products on there. So you can use it at the top to actually get support on a product. So at the top, we've got product support. And if there's anyone advanced in this session, there may be some people that are doing BS142 assessments. Maybe you want to do some low frequency assessment for the Salford guidance for your measurements. Or maybe you want to do the reference tone on your instrument and you're not sure how. Then I've created some online guides on our website that will take you through how to do it. And there's some screenshots, some will have videos. So if I show you on the Norsonic meter, on here, we've got some drop downs and you can go through the videos step by step. So if you've got anyone that's unsure after this meeting, or you've got a new colleague, there's some guides on here how to calibrate. You can download them, print them off and pop in the box. So yeah, they're all free to use. And yeah, then on our website, we have some of the new instruments. So if you're looking for a new NNR kit, then I would recommend having a look on here and having a look at the new style of equipment. We've really focused on this new product on usability, having free software, automatic calibration, and some other things just to make your life a lot easier. but also looking at like the cost of the replacement accessories, like the hand switches are much cheaper. They're not a few hundred, they're now under 100. The charge is £29, but Nick will tell you more about this later. Okay. So let's move on just in terms of calibration. So traditionally we used to come round to you all in different parts of the country, and after the training we would pick up your equipment for calibration and bring it back to our office, get it calibrated, and then ship it back to you. So what we're doing, because we're not with you in person, we will collect your equipment for calibration for free using our courier service, and we'll ship it back to you for free as well. So anyone that's attended this user group is welcome to use this offer. On our website, we have a form that you can fill in if you need a quote. So at the top, you've got calibration, and you can request a quote, and then just use the special code in there to get your discount. If you don't need a quote because you already know what the price is and so on, then you can just arrange a collection straight away. Just fill in the details on the form, like your address and so on, and then we'll get that all organized for you. And we can get these calibrated in a few days here, and it's just account for the shipping time. So yeah, we'll be pleased to help. So it's the code is NNR10, and that will get you 10% off the calibration as well. So anyone that's attended the user group will get 10% off. Now, I do know that you might not need to calibrate your equipment now. It might not be due until the summer or something. So I'm conscious of that. So you're welcome to use this discount code throughout 2026. Yeah, and we'll be pleased to get the calibration done for you. And we can do any make of meter. So if you have other meters in there, like a B&K meter or one of the others, then yeah, no problem. We can calibrate it, and we can still do a discount as well. And yeah, we'll get that organized. So there's a video on how to set up the equipment. I'm going to paste this into the chat for you. And we don't need to do this right now. So let's just see if I can do that without the bullet point. Hopefully that works and takes you to YouTube. No. Helen, would you mind putting that in the chat for us? Doesn't seem to work for me. We'll get that in there in a moment. Let's just put that in 0140 NNR kit. Here we go. So we've got this video here on YouTube that you can actually watch. What I'll do is just load it from here. And I'll put this link now in the chat. Thanks, Helen. You're great. Thanks for doing that. So Helen's put the video in the chat. I've got it downloaded already. This you'll need just after the session. So let's just have a look at the kit that you've got now in front of you, and just make sure that you've got it on, you've got it working before we start going through the settings. So I don't want to hold you up there. So let's have a look what's in the case. So in the video, it will break down step by step what you need to do to get the kit set up, and it will show you what's in the box. So you should have a calibrator in the case that you've got. So that's used for just checking the microphone. And the microphone you'll see is the silver metal, shall we say like a little pole kind of thing. So that microphone will go on the top of the meter. So the meter's in the middle there. So you'll need to attach the microphone at least now to the top of the meter. You'll know when that's working because if we can just switch screens, your sound level meter should start reading a reading. So mine's got a reading on the screen at the moment, which is 93. And you can see that's now changing as I'm talking. So if you've attached the microphone, it should be reading a level like this. You need your hand switch. So hopefully you've got that, and it can plug into the side of your sound level meter. So on the left-hand side, there'll be a socket to plug this hand switch in. And there will be a couple of little screws on the socket to screw it in. You don't need to screw it in. Normally, even within the case, the cable channel will hold the cable in. And then if you've got the charger, I'd recommend plugging that in because the chances are our batteries are flat. So if you don't have any AA's, just plug in your charger, and that plugs in on the right-hand side of the meter. So just open the flap on the right-hand side. You've got the extension cable, so if you want to put the microphone on the tripod, then you can.
Yo.
And yeah, you'll have a windshield here as well. So that will go on the end of the microphone if you need it. So this video, I'll just play it now. We'll show you
Sorry, Anthony, you're on mute.
Thank you. Was that just lost? Or could you hear me before then through that video? If anyone's able to put in the chat, or have I been silent for that whole time?
It was about the last 20 seconds or so.
Ah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for letting me know. Well spotted. So I'll just run back onto that video. So everybody should have all the bits of equipment here laid out. And then the next part of the steps are just showing you where the cables connect to. So we've got the meter inside the case, and we've got the microphone extension cable that plugs into the top of the meter. So that just hooks in. There's a little red dot onto it. You then have some loose cable that can just be left on the side for now. We'll grab the microphone, and that pushes down into the socket on the cable. So what you will notice on the microphone, there's like a collar. It's got a very rough edge to it on the round part, like a ring, and this rotates to screw it onto the cable. So you can either screw this onto the meter now, you don't have to set it up as the NNR. You can use the microphone directly on the meter, or you can connect it to the extension cable. And then if you're using the microphone on the tripod, you just push it down. It's a bit of a snug fit to start off with. And then the windshield would just then go on to the end of the microphone. So it's the microphone into the tripod with the extension reel into the meter. And then the next part is just the hand switch. So the hand switch will go around the side of the case into the socket on the left-hand side of the meter. As I said before, you don't necessarily need to screw this up, but you're welcome to do this. You can get the screws from your next Christmas cracker set, and you would find that the cables are quite snug, so it actually holds the cable in a lot of the time. So it saves you having to mess around with screwing it in. And then you've got the extension cable for the power. That's on the right-hand side. So I'll just go back slightly on this, just to show you that again. So the power socket is on the right-hand side, and it goes into the DC socket, and that will power up the meter. So the meter will run indefinitely on mains power. If you're using the batteries, a good set of batteries will probably last 5 or 6 hours, and really the batteries are just there for a backup in case you lose power in the resident's property. Maybe they unplug it to go and do the hoovering, although they shouldn't be. So it's worth having new batteries. Now, don't worry too much if you've not managed to set this up. As long as you've got the meter with the microphone on, then you can just watch this video at the end of the session and set up your kit again. So let's start with turning on the instrument. There's a power button on the right hand side. I'm sure everybody's turned on their meter already, but if you haven't, press the orange power button, and then you'll see like a windmill start to load up on the screen. That will take 20 seconds, and then you should get to the measurement screen, and then I'll show you about the calibration. So for the calibration, you're going to need this calibrator. So on the right hand side, we've got a calibrator. You'll have one that's either round in the box, and it'll have a number on that says 114, 114 dB, or you might have like a rectangle version. And what we would like you to do is just take out that calibrator if you have one. If you don't, do not panic, and just place that on the end of your microphone. So this here is showing us taking the windshield off the microphone and just placing the calibrator on the end of the microphone and just turning this on. And then the calibrator will have a green light on it. And then on the screen of the meter, you should start to see this 114 decibels. So if you have one, just check, are you getting a reading on the screen? If you're not getting a reading on the screen, then just make sure everything's connected and so on. And then just take the calibrator off. We're not going to calibrate it now. I'll show you this step again a bit later on with the actual screen of my meter, so you can follow along a bit easier. So yeah, once everything's kind of set up, you'll have the meter with the extension cables and a hand switch and so on. But before we kind of start playing with pressing the start button, we just need to make sure that our settings are correct on the meter. So I'll start running through those now. Okay, so I've connected my meter to the computer. Just pulling the blind down a bit. It's nice and sunny here for the first time in about 3 months. Right, so my meter is now on, and you've got this decibel level on the screen, and I've got the keypad with the controls on the right hand side. Would everybody just kind of maybe confirm if you're stuck, if you haven't managed to get to the screen? Maybe pop it in the chat if you need me to just show you how to get to the screen. Hopefully everyone's on it. Just before I go any further, I don't want to leave anyone behind, because this is the kind of the most important part now of doing the settings. Like, any comments in the chat? No? Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Right, let's move on. So I've made a couple of notes on the left-hand side of just the most important settings on the meter. You're welcome to print screen this, but I will send you this on a guide. So all the settings that I show you, I'll send on a PDF. Now let me just remove this update message. Postpone. Don't want to reboot now. That'll be a nightmare. Right. Okay, so your meter, it's on. This screen that I have here is the measurement screen. So this is just showing us the level that I'm talking at. And if you speak in your microphone now, you can try that. All your microphones are off on the Teams meeting. You'll see that when you talk, it's about 60 to 70 dB, depending on how close you are to the microphone. If your meter's not reading a level like 0, then you've got a problem. And I don't know what that is. So if you've got that problem, I don't know, maybe check the microphones on there. Hopefully it's not damaged. But we'll find that out by placing the calibrator on. So that's why we normally do the calibration at the start of the measurement. So when we do the calibration, we're actually checking that microphone's working, and we tend to do the calibration at the end just to check that in the property you know, the dog hasn't eaten the microphone, or someone hasn't damaged it, or put it in the garden in the rain or something like that. So, yeah, let me just grab my calibrator now, and you're welcome to do the same. And I'm just going to place my calibrator on the end of the microphone. I'm not going to change any settings, so I'm just going to place it on there. And you can see straight away that my microphone then starts reading 113.6. So it's a little bit off 114. So we should just adjust that just to make sure it is working. So to change the calibration, and if you haven't got the calibrator, then don't follow along with this, just skip this part. But if you have the calibrator, press the cal button on the keypad. So this big orange button, cal, just press this and you'll get this screen here. And all I want you to do, there's two buttons at the top, deck or ink. If you just press on my one, because I'm at 113, I'm going to need to press the deck key. If you're above 114, you'll probably need to press the ink key. So when I press this deck key, it will get me to 114 eventually, and because it just changes this value here. So on your meters, this will be different to mine, but it'll be around -25, -26. As long as it's somewhere around that figure, then it's fine. If it starts changing to something like -29 or -21, then you might have an issue with the microphone. So you might just need to send it in for like calibration or something, and we can check it out. So it's just trying to get to 114, which was by pressing the deck or the ink key until you get to it. And if you keep pressing it, eventually it will go way past and you'll have to press the button to go the other way. So just get that as near as you can. And when you're happy with the setting, just press the orange cal button once more to bring you back to the measurement screen. And you know, when you're on the measurement screen, generally because you've got a bar on the right-hand side and the measurement time is at the top, 199, 59, 59. And if yours doesn't say that, I'll show you how to change it now. So I'm done with my calibrator. I'm happy that my microphone works. As I said, I'll do this at the start of the measurement and then once at the end when I pick up the equipment. The calibrator sounds like this annoying sounds that you can probably hear, hopefully through Teams. So I've turned mine off. A lot of the calibrators, they just turn off on their own. So there's no off button, just pop it in on the side and it'll turn off after 10 seconds or so. Okay, so on the screen in front of you, you can see the level in the big numbers, but above this, on the top left, you've got the duration of the measurement, which should be on the left-hand side of my screen, should be 199, 59, 59, and mine says that as well, but yours might not, and I'll show you how to change that in a moment. And then underneath this, we have the date, which is in reverse, so 2025, 12th, so that's December, and the 3rd day of December. So I'll show you how to change the clock in a moment. And then, yeah, you have then the actual time as well here. So we've got 9:58 at the moment. If yours reads, I don't know, clocks went forward or back, then it might read, you know, 8 or 10 o'clock or something like that. So we can change that. So to change the settings, let's just look over the keypad. So you've got some important keys, the on button, the cal button, and then the start button. This is what you'll use later. But your most important keys for the settings now are the setup key and then the enter key in the middle. And just remember this enter key, it's really weird on this meter, but when you want to come back and out of an option, you'll normally have to press enter to go back. So remember that enter brings you back. It's a return button. So if we go to setup, in this setup menu, you've got 9 options. Maybe some of you have got less options than me. Don't worry, don't panic. Some meters don't have all the options. So when you want to go in one of these menus, you would press the number on the keypad for that option. So we're going to start from top to bottom. We're going to start with the instrument menu. So if you press button number 1 for the instrument menu, you will see the title at the top now says instrument menu. And yeah, we're then going to just make a few changes to some of the basic settings in here. So we're in the instrument menu, which was number 1 of the setup menu. and then it's number 1 for storing. And what we're going to do now is just set up our meter so it runs for a whole week. So long as this top mode is set to automatic, it will run for a whole week. If you want to run the meter for 2 weeks, just indefinitely until you pick it up, then you can change this to a setting called repeat. So that's by pressing the ink or the deck key, and it will change the value in this menu. So you just need to make sure that your mouse is kind of hovered over on that option. So I've got mine set to repeat. You can do automatic, it doesn't matter. Only depends on your circumstances. The setups we will set to internal. So if you just press the arrow down, you can change this from SD card to internal by pressing the ink or deck key, these two here. And then you really want to make sure that this one here, so I press the arrow down, the result is set to the SD card. So that makes sure that all the audio files that are captured by the resident are saved to the SD card. Otherwise, you're going to run out of memory on the meter. So repeat, internal, SD card. The top one mode can be repeat or automatic. Repeat if you want more than a week. I'm just going to check the chat and just make sure. Yeah, everybody's still keeping up, so we're okay. Underneath this, you've got the free space. So if you want to check how much memory is on the SD card, you can do that by pressing the arrow down and then pressing enter on free space. And it will tell you how much memory you have. So I've got 99% free, and I will show you later how to format the memory card. So just press enter to go back, and your mouse should now be back kind of hovered on the top option. And if you press the enter key one more time, then you should get back to the instrument menu. Okay. So if you can wait at the instrument menu, because we're going to go into clock, for anyone that's kind of stuck right now and thinking, right, I'm not in that menu, just go back to the measurement screen. So press the enter key to get all the way back, and I'll take you back how to get into that setting. So go to setup, and then go to the instrument menu, so number 1, and then go to number 3 for clock. So we're going to set the clock now. So that was in the instrument menu, it's option number 3. And then you can change the values. So just come onto the date, time, and then just either type in the actual time that it is now, or use the ink or deck key to change the values. And then when you're happy with the clock, just go down to set clock. So move your arrows all the way down to set clock, and then press enter. Yeah, someone's got a question. All right, I'll have a look. So once you've set that clock, it should just bring you back to this instrument screen. You can check the time, just go back into it, press button number 3. So just make sure you set all your values and then go down to set clock, press enter on set clock, and it will save it and bring you back out. So while anyone is adjusting their clock, there's a question about how much memory is on the internal memory. It's not very much. It won't even store, I think, 1 or 2 audio recordings, so you need to use the SD card. Okay, so hopefully everyone's got their clock set up. I've just answered the couple of questions that we had for storing. So you don't need to go into this menu. You will have found that there would have been some more options in here To be honest, just stick to the automatic and repeat. Don't use the other options because they will affect how the meter runs for noise nuisance. Those other options are for actually manually starting and stopping it at your own pace. Yeah, and results need to be to the SD card because there's not much memory in the internal, maybe just a few megabytes. So I just press the enter to go back. I'm now in the instrument menu. We've just done the clock. We will have a look now at the measurement duration because we need the meter to run for a whole week. So if you just press the enter key to go back, you should be able to go back into the setup menu. So at the top, you've got setup. If you're on this screen, then just press setup again, and it'll bring you back to this menu. So this is the setup menu. So just press setup if you need to get back into here. So we've just done option number 1, which was for the instrument settings, just the basic, how long it's going to run, how it's going to run, and the clock. Number 2 is about the measurement duration. So press button number 2 for measurement duration. This is about how long the meter will run for. So you need it to run for at least 199 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. So just use the arrows up and down to go across. And then you can just type over the number. So just type in 59, press enter. So you'll see there's like an E at the bottom when you've not typed in the value. And then type in 59, press the E if that comes up at the bottom. And then you've got the resolution here, and you just need to make sure that this is set to 1 second. So all that means is the duration it will run for 199 hours, which is about a week. The resolution is the little dots on the graph. So it's logging every 1 second, the decibel level. So that's so you can see that nice graph when you download it. So have that set as 1 second. And then when you're happy with that, just press the enter key to go back to the setup menu. Okay. Some questions in the chat. We've got a hand up at the moment. Let's just see. So Kelly, do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if we're doing hands up, but I was just trying to get your attention.
That's okay. Thank you.
That's all right. I'm confused what you mean by run for more than a week. So the way we do it, and I don't know if I've been doing it wrong, but that people press the button to record. So
Okay.
when you say run for a week, what do you mean
Yeah.
by that? Do you mean record for a week, or because when I've
Yeah.
done it, like people
Yeah.
press the button and it records for the 3 minutes, it doesn't record everything. So I'm just a bit confused what you mean by run by. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Maybe I can make that more clear. So yeah, there are two kind of situations here. You've got the meter's going to run for the whole period. So this duration that we're setting now, it's going to run for 199 hours, but this is just for actually plotting the graph. So you can actually just look at the graph and see what's been going on through the week. But then that saves itself on the measurement. But in addition to this plotted line, we're going to set up our hand switch in a moment, which will have its own settings for recording just a 3-minute audio recording. So that will only happen when the person presses the hand switch.
So does it mean that it basically monitors? So I remember, yeah, obviously when I've done and analysing it, you can see when noise has been made, on the graph. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's
rather
than
actually being recorded. Yeah, sorry, probably a stupid question. I apologise. Thank you.
No, it's not. It's a very good question. Yeah. So
thank you.
Yeah, this will be logging all the time throughout the week. Let's have a look at the next setting. Right, so if I press the enter key to go back, and we're now done in the measurement duration. So we're in the setup menu. We have the option below for frequency mode. So that's number 4. So I'll just show you that. Now, a lot of people won't have this option. So if you press button number 4, it will take you to this. Now, don't worry about this for any basic users. You don't have to have this on, but there might be some people within the group that like to log the frequency. This can be useful for washing machine noise, maybe loud cars, potentially dogs. It's just so we can capture the frequencies of the sound. There's extra data. So you can turn that on by pressing the on or off key. So just press the INC or the DEC key to turn that on or off. And then the bandwidth below this, you can just press the INC or the DEC key to change this to third octave. So thirds there. Most people won't have this, but for those that do, it's just a little bonus setting. And then just press the enter key to go back. Oh, pressing the wrong button there. Just give me 1 second. So hopefully everyone's caught up, and just give me one. Okay, so it looks like we've got another question. Hi, what's the difference between third W and 1/3? Yeah, good question. Good question. The difference is really not important for this session. So really, it just needs to be set to thirds. The W just means it goes wider, and you don't need it at all for sound measurements. So don't even worry about it. Just have it set to third, and that will give you exactly what you need. Okay, so let's have a look now at the trigger settings. So we've done our measurement running, our duration, but we've got number 6, which is for the trigger. So for anyone that doesn't know what a trigger is, it is essentially how we set up the hand switch. We could call it a trigger button. So when the resident presses this button, we should call that a trigger. We want it to do something. We want it to capture audio. So if we go into number 6, trigger, then we have 2 types of triggers, one for the measurement and one for the recording for the resident. So if you go into number 2, recording, this is the one that we want for the resident, then we just want to make sure that our hand switch is going to work by making sure that external is on. So if you press the INC or the DEC key, you can change external to on or off. And then if you go down to level, that just needs to be left at off. If it's set to on, then press the DEC key to change this to off. And then the delay underneath, this needs to be set to either minus 30 seconds or minus 60 seconds. So what is this? What's happening? So external's on. So that means when the resident presses the hand switch, the light will turn on and it will start capturing sound, the recording sound of the resident, the dog barking next door. And then the delay is when they press that button, it actually started capturing sound, in my case, 30 seconds before I press that button. Or if I put that to minus 60, then it will capture the sound 60 seconds before I press this button, so this trigger button. And what's the reason for this? Well, the reason for this, it's brilliant because there are many residents that complain about their neighbor and it's malicious. It's just them setting off their next door neighbor's dog to get them in trouble. It may be someone going into the fence to try and antagonize a dog. So this button here, when they press it, it starts capturing that sound before. The resident doesn't necessarily realize this. And yeah, can be very helpful to kind of getting rid of those complaints that you've got, because you can, go back to them and say, look, I'm really sorry, but when you made the recording, yes, I did hear the dog barking, but a few seconds before you press that button, it does appear to me that you were banging the fence to antagonize the dog so that the dog would start barking. Yeah, or maybe probably nowadays, you just need to like press your Ring doorbell and your dog starts going off. Mine does that. Any time he hears the Ring doorbell on channel 4, he starts going off. So yeah, maybe they can be creative, right? So external on, level off, minus 30 seconds. Now, for anyone that's wondering what the level off is about, what does the level do? I really wouldn't recommend using this unless you're an advanced user. But what it does enable you to do is to set a level at which the recording would happen. The trigger switch would work automatically when it starts going over a certain noise level. So this is great for like nighttime noise if someone's complaining about something that's happening in the night and they can't press the button. But the downside is throughout the daytime, because the levels of sounds are much higher, it tends to just like record sound all the time. So it can be used. If you do have a situation like that, then I'd recommend just popping us an email to support and I can just send you a guide on that section on kind of how it works. Once you're happy with those settings, just press the enter key to go back. I'm just going to check the chat to see if we have any questions. Can't see any hands. Yeah, so you've probably gone back now to the trigger menu. If you press the enter key again, it should bring you back to the setup here. So yeah, trigger, that's all done. That was just the setting of the hand switch. The next part is to look at recording. So if you've gone back too far, maybe you ended up back on this screen here, just press the setup key and then go to number 8, recording. And the recording is just about when the resident presses that button, how long do you want that audio recording to be for that resident's button press? So I've got mine set to 2 minutes, 120 seconds, but you can change that to generally whatever you want, but I wouldn't go more than a few minutes, to be honest. So, you might do 180, you could do 120. So you just type over the number by pressing 180. I've got an E on the bottom to say to press enter so I can move to the next field. And then you just need to make sure that these settings below just read the same as mine. So gain 48, format 16-bit, sampling 48 kilohertz. This simply is just the quality of the recording. That's all it is. Thank you. Yeah, really good question, Michael. Thank you. So does this include the trigger period? So 180 seconds doesn't include the trigger period. So it would be 180 seconds plus the 30 seconds before. So it would be a longer recording than this. So yeah, just bear that in mind because you are filling up the memory card. You've got more to listen to. You probably only need a couple of minutes to make a decision, unless the case more about verbal abuse or something, then you might want a longer recording because you might need to capture more of what is said. Okay, and then once you're happy with that, then just press the enter key to go back. So I'll just leave this just here a second, just in case there's a couple of steps there for you to work through and just change. So, excuse me, it's pressing the ink or the deck key and making sure that those are all set. And then when you're happy, then press the enter key to go back. And you should be back in the setup menu. So these are the settings on the side of the screen that we've set today. I will add the PDF to the chat in the break, and then you can just download it and you can go back through the settings if you're unsure after this meeting. Are there any questions that we can cover so far? Okay, yeah, that's some good questions. So I think I'm going to come, if you wouldn't mind just popping your chat settings in the chat now. And what we're going to do, because we've been talking now for nearly an hour, we're going to take a quick break. And then I'm going to come back and start to answer some of those questions that we've got in the chat. We're going to look at the calibration, how to format the memory card, and I'll show you then the part of the download. So feel free to start putting your questions in the chat now, then I can start preparing. And in the meantime, if everyone would like to take a 10-minute break, let's come back at about 10:30. And then you've had a chance to refresh and grab a coffee, and then we'll cover with the next bit.
old content.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So it's 10:30. We'll give everyone just a minute or two just in case. I've added into the chat the links for the calibration and also the NNR training guides. So you can go onto this page and scroll down. So if you've got any new users that don't have the software set up on the computer, then this will be great because it shows IT, like how to do it, where to download the guides from. We've got the basic PDF guide in here. So just what I've covered today is covered in here, explaining the screen. So I'm going to cover a couple of things that people put in the chat. And there's just some extra settings in there that you can use to just make sure that the meter's working properly. So if there's something you think, oh, there's a setting, it's still not quite working properly, then you can just go through this completely step by step, and this will help you. So yeah, there were some good questions in the chat, so let's get on to those. Thanks, Helen. Helen's just posted in the chat as well, just about calibration and how that works. So just come back to here at any time. We'll pop this on an email as well. So I'll just go back up and have a look at some of the questions. How often do you need to change the SD card? Yeah, good question, Begani. The SD card, to be honest, there's no rule, but I'd just say, like, if you're using these meters day in, day out, they're out all the time. The memory cards, like, they do wear out. They're not infinite. So you might want to replace them every couple of years, every few years, depends on your budget. At least formatting the memory card is a good idea, because that helps get rid of errors on the memory card. But when you're taking the memory card in and out of your meter into your computer, you can get errors on the memory card. And if you get errors, then you've got more chance than of when you've got it out for a week, something happening where it stops recording the week because there's an error on the memory card. So I just try and replace them as frequently as you can. I mean, some people might do it every year, some people might do it every 2 years. I don't know what the answer is. It just depends on the memory card. If you putting them through scanners at the airport, then they're probably not going to last very long. But you're not doing that. So, but yeah, just if you start seeing errors, then replace them. Just replace them. It's easier than having to go back out, and still probably cheaper than your time to go back out to residence property. I'll just bear in mind that I don't know, hopefully you've not got the memory cards that we supplied with a meter. You could have had these meters more than 10 years. Some people have had some of these 140s now, like 15, probably coming on 20 years old. So it's just bearing that in mind. It's just like your laptops. Eventually they start slowing down and they don't work as well. So there was a question about the W not on the meter. So at the bottom I've got a W and you might just have a G. I can show you where to change that. It's not super critical, to be honest, but it does a little correction. It's more important for environmental measurements. So if you just want that W,
no, that's mine.
I wouldn't bother with this unless you really need it. So let me just mute that person. There we go. So if we go to setup and then go to instruments, and then number 4 for the inputs, don't change any of the settings on top. It should be the same as mine, standard and pole vault on. But there's one at the bottom called corrections. This one here, and it's button number 2 you have to press to get into that menu. And you need to turn on the setting that says windscreen here and turn that from off to on. Now, this is not super critical, to be honest. For a lot of basic users, I just say don't worry about it too much. It's 0.1 of a dB. It's not going to make a lot of difference. When I don't believe that we're looking at the recordings in that fine detail, but if you are, then of course you should have the windscreen on. At 0.1 dB, you're not looking at that in terms of deciding whether something is serious or not. You're looking at bigger decibel changes. So it's the enter key to go all the way back. If you are still a little bit unsure where you were with that, it's the instrument menu number 1, the input menu number 4, pressing button number 2 at the bottom for corrections, and then changing windscreen on or off by using the ink or deck key, and then press the enter key to go back, and keep pressing the enter key until you're all the way back. This is actually in the user guides in the PDF. So if you haven't managed to do that, got stuck with it, don't worry. Just have a look at the PDF guide. I've print screened every step of what to press. Yeah, and then there's the question about the settings and saving the settings that you've just done today. I will cover that next. So yeah, the 140, generally the settings will remain on the meter as long as the batteries don't go flat. So as long as it's got battery, you don't necessarily have to save the settings, but it is a better idea to do that and load them each time if you want to. So to do that, to save those settings, you would need to press a button called the store record key, which is next to the setup key. So you make sure that you're on this home screen once you've done all your setting changes, and then you press the store record key, and then it creates a setup file, which in my case is 262. And you just note that down on your notepad or put it in your box. And the next time you want to load in the settings that we applied today, you would press the recall key to do that. So I press the store record key to get the setup file, which is 262. Let's say I've come to a new day and I want to load in those settings. I press the recall key, and you need to make sure at the top it says INT for internal, because that's where the settings are saved. And if it's not set to that, press the ink key until it says INT. So press this button, ink key, or the deck key, until it says INT for internal. And then you go up using the arrows to setup. So go to setup and press the arrow to the right to get a menu down the side here. And then I've got my number 262 from today that I can press enter on, and it will load those settings that I've just done today and saved today. It will take a second for it just to configure the meter now. It's going to go through and change all the settings for you. And yeah, you will either get to just the level on the screen, or you might get to this menu that I've got now, my frequencies screen. If you're stuck on the frequency screen, then press button number 2, which has got the F for frequency, T for time. So button number 2, and it will bring you back to the time screen. So now I'm back here and I can see my measurement. I can see my date and time is right. My measurement duration is correct. So we can actually start a measurement. Yeah, no problem. Let's just cover the recall one more time. So to save the setup file, you press the store record key. So I'll press it now, and I've got number 263. I then press the recall button once. I make sure that the setting at the top is set to internal by pressing the ink or the deck key until I get to INT. And then you go up to setup using the arrows, and then you press enter on setup. and then you select the number. So mine was 263, and then I press enter. And this will load in all the settings that I've saved for today. Hopefully that makes sense. It takes a second now, just while it loads. And to come off this frequency screen, press button number 2. If you have that, you might not have that, and you'll get back to here. And at the top, it'll now say setup 263, and then R means recalled. So yeah, that's how you do it. It's quite helpful because then you don't need to keep going through this PDF guide every time. The settings that I've done today, just recall the settings from today. If you're still maybe unsure, drop us an email and I'll send you the PDF for this section here. Okay. So yeah, we should look at starting a measurement and checking our hand switch. So everybody should have a hand switch in their kit, so the trigger switch. And we want to check that that plugs into the meter okay. So if you wouldn't mind just plugging in your hand trigger into the side of the meter. On the left-hand side, you've got a socket. And if you just plug in that connector. Setup names cannot change. You can't change the names of the setups. It's not possible. It's only numbers. So everybody's probably looking for their hand switch. I'm having to imagine what you might be doing. And my guess is the bag's across the room and hand switch is either in the back pocket or the front pocket. We're trying to figure out where it is. And we found it now when we're plugging it into the side of the meter. And we're now ready to see if it works. So I've got my hand switch, I've got my meter's on. The moment of truth will be when you press the start key, will it start? So if you want to press the start key, and hopefully you get a recording, and if you haven't, then you're going to have to watch this video all over again. I really hope not. So I've pressed the start key, I've got the record, the R symbol, and the time is going up. And this is now logging the level sounds, just the decibel levels every 1 second. So it's logging that every 1 second in the chart. And then what we're hoping is to start a recording. Now, the first recording normally can be you as the officer just announcing where you are. So I'm going to press the trigger button on my hand switch and hope the light comes on, and mine does come on. And I know it's come on because I've got an A at the bottom of my screen. So that A means audio. So it's now recording audio. And this will now start running and recording audio. I'll come back to the question in a moment, I think that we've got. So it's now recording the audio. And we know because it's got the A on the bottom. And I'll announce I'm at the property. My name's Anthony. I work for Campbell Associates and I'm at Chelmsford Road. And today we're installing this piece of equipment because it's investigating a noise nuisance complaint about a dog barking. And now I've got a bit of a reference sound level. Really, I want the microphone and the whole kit just set up in the place it's supposed to be on the floor. So when I'm talking, it's kind of a bit more representative of the room. Some people may place the calibrator on the end of the microphone at the same time, just to kind of get a read in and to show that they did calibrate it. This is down to your internal procedure. It also just shows that the microphone was working in your case. So that's good evidence. And yeah, this is now working. So it will run now for the whole week. If you had it set to repeat, it will keep running until you go and collect it, but you'll have multiple measurements. And yeah, when you come to collect the equipment from the property, you would normally just stop the measurement by pressing the stop key. So if I press that now, press the stop key, and then it will give you like an overall value, LEQ, at the end, the time it's been running. So mine's 2 minutes 26, and it gives you the file name at the top. So that's what's going to appear on the memory card. So we've now got essentially a week measurement with lots of audio recordings that have been saved to the SD card that we can play back in the computer. Yeah, so that's it. So let's just see if anyone's got any questions. We have got some questions there, and I'm going to go back through some of the settings in case your hand switch wasn't working, or maybe you didn't get it to press start, because this happens. So we can run through that. Kelly, you've got a question. If you're happy to answer. Oh, sorry. Kelly, do you want to try again and just unmute your microphone?
Sorry, I thought I had. Sorry.
Not bad.
Sorry, everyone, for having to listen to me. I plugged everything in properly, but I'm pressing my trigger, but it's not coming on. It's not recording anything. But at the top of my screen, it says setup -0069R. I've never seen that before. Is that why the mic's not working?
No. When you press the start key, did it give you the R symbol like in the big letter? If you try that again, does it start?
Oh yeah. Oh, typical. It's working now. Sorry. Sorry.
No, that's okay. And then just try just double check your hand switch as well, just to make sure that that light comes on.
Yeah, we're fine.
Perfect.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you.
You're welcome. No problem. So we've got the option of W. So yeah, no, thanks, Martin. It is quite easy for that to happen, that W. So it's waiting on something, and that's because someone's changed a setting before I think you've got to the meter. So let's see if we can just help you out with that one. Now, I just make a note now. So if your meter's working, your hand switch is working fine, I'd recommend that maybe you don't follow along with what I'm about to show you, because you might end up accidentally changing the setting to not working. If you're going to follow along, just make sure you follow along really carefully. So that W message. So I'll show you the issue that this person's faced with. So when you press the start button, instead of getting an R, you get a W. It's waiting. It's waiting for something to happen, and then it will start recording. So I'm going to help you now get rid of that W. Just make sure that you've pressed the stop key to get rid of whatever symbols here. If you've got a W, you've got an R, press the stop button to make sure that the measurement's no longer running. So I've got just this value here stuck still. If you just press, there's a button on the bottom, exit. If you just press that, it will just bring you back to like a rolling number on the front screen here. Not critical, but it will just show that the meter's in the standby mode. Okay, so mine's in the standby sort of mode now. We're going to go into setup, and the meter's waiting on a trigger. So it's waiting on a trigger. So we need to go to the trigger menu, number 6. And it's waiting on a specific trigger called measurement, which is in number 1. So earlier we changed the settings for recording, number 2, but we actually didn't change the setting for number 1 measurement. And I did that on purpose because often it's already set to the right setting and I don't want to confuse things. But it's sometimes someone before you has changed this measurement number setting, which they shouldn't have. So in number 1 measurement, if you go into that, number 1, you need to make sure, this is the critical part, that your cursor is set on manual. So make sure it's set on manual. So for the person whose meter was showing the W when you press start, it was because someone had set it to clock. And what that means is when it's set to clock, basically this option here, these options are controlling how the start button works. So the start is you want it to work manually. But if you set it to clock, what happens is when you press the start button, it will, let me just see if I can change that on the clock. It will wait until a certain time to start measuring. And in this case, it means it will wait until 12 o'clock at night to start recording. So it's not the end of the world, because you could press start in the property and it's going to say waiting, but it's just annoying because you're going to lose that whole day and it's going to wait all the way until midnight to start recording the whole start of the data. So it's not the end of the world, but it's still annoying. So you need to make sure that your arrow is set on manual at the top. So just move your arrow up to manual and press the enter to go back. Do not use any of the other options. External, level, above, you don't even need to know what they mean. Just don't use them. Pretend like they don't even exist. So this was in trigger, number 1 measurement, and making sure this is set to manual. And then once it's set to manual, make sure it's highlighted, then press the enter key to go back. And then when you press the start key now, the W should not appear and it should say R. Just like that. And Martin, thanks for confirming. That is a common issue that we see, actually. It happens to a lot of people. So it's now recording. You can check your hand switch again by just pressing the hand switch. I check mine. I've got an A on the bottom and it's running fine. And then to stop it, just press the stop key. And I would recommend just saving your measurement setup. Martin, if you can do that, press the store record key. This might not work for the setup, so just press the exit first. So use this exit key just to clear what's on the screen. So it's just on this standby, just bouncing around. And when you've got to that, so that was the exit key just to clear what's on the screen. Then just press the store record key, this one here, to save the setup file. And going forward, I will load the one that's number 264. Okay. Brilliant. Let's have a look at the calibration in a moment. What I'm going to do, just give myself just a 2-minute break. I'm just going to grab myself some water. And Nick is just going to tell you a little bit about the changes at Campbell Associates. So just a little bit of an advert for a second, but we appreciate you listening because we do this session for free. We don't charge for this. And that just helps us, cover our costs. So if you like new equipment, technology, you're really unhappy with your 20-year-old meter and you want something a bit easier to use, then I do think we have a better solution going forward. So Nick, do you want to share your screen? Is that the best thing to do? Yeah. And I'll mute my microphone. Notes.
Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me. My name is Nick. I've worked in instrumentation for over 12 years, 8 of which being sound level and vibration equipment.
Nick, can we just turn on your camera?
Yeah. Is that better?
Let me just, yeah, that's better. Let me
Yeah.
spotlight you and take it off me. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just want to take over.
Is that? Hello. So yeah, I've worked in instrumentation for over 12 years, 8 of which being sound and vibration equipment. I've worked with Lass and Davis a lot of this time. Work with other brands, but mainly Lass and Davis equipment. I've been part of the Campbell's team for quite a bit now. And my role is to help with any technical questions that you may have regarding the equipment. Also take inquiries for sales and demonstrations for the equipment. So Larson Davis has been going since 1981. They're a really good company to work with. We have a good relationship with them. They offer a 2-year instrument warranty and a 5-year microphone warranty, which is really good. And we believe it's a really good step moving forward for Campbell. And so I'd like to introduce you to the Spartan, to the Sound Expert. It's a really modern design with a touchscreen display. It's very bright. It's got contrast adjust for working in dark or really light environments. It's got a really easy menu system for your setups. It's got Bluetooth connectivity, which you can connect to the G4 software using your laptop. Also, and it also has a phone app that also that you can view, change settings, stop and start the meter. It's got USB-C charging, so you can use a phone charger to charge it. You can also use the USB-C to download recordings and data from the computer, which
Standard
is really
charger.
good. And it's also got wireless charging. It's very easy to use, similar to using an iPhone or a mobile phone. It's really good once you start getting once you get it in your hands and have a go. It's a lot more modern than a lot of the instruments on the market at the moment. One really good thing is the cost of this meter. To buy a full NNR kit using the Sound Expert is £4,700, whereas the Narsonic costs around about 3,000 more than that. So it's budget friendly, but also there's no compromises on the what it's capable of or its classification. Wow. So it's a really good product.
That's where we'll have to consider it.
This is the full kit itself. Very similar to the Narsonic design, where it comes in a case. One benefit of this is that everything fits inside of one case, so there's no need to have cables lying around in the bag and rummaging through. Everything fits inside of the case itself. As I said before, the meter and the software is very easy to use compared to other meters on the market. It's also free, the software, so there's no license needed, and it can be downloaded to as many computers as you like, which is a very good selling point. You can also download the data very simply and quickly, which allows for a quick turnaround. So yeah. This is the case itself with its accessories. It's got a lock, an eyelet, so you can lock it up when it's at the person's house.
Quite nice. It comes with a different colour switches as well.
Yes, the new hand switch that we're using is works really well. It's used for SEND training on children, so it's very strong and robust. You can also change the colour if that's good. Another really good thing about the hand switch is the cost to replace. It's very cheap. It's less than £100, whereas the Narsonic ones are £300 or £400, which is handy if anything happens to it. One function that the Sound Expert has, it has an automatic calibration function. This is very easy. It's easy as turning the calibrator on, putting the meter in the bottom, sliding the microphone into the calibrator. Once you've done this, an automatic pop-up will come up on the screen. Once the calibrator is stabilized, you'll get an option to accept the reading. Once you press accept, this means that the calibration is totally done. Another great feature is that the calibration data and the sensitivity of the microphone is automatically stored on the computer, inboard computer, but also this data is available to download on the software. This allows for seamless recording and And if you do get any problems arise with the microphone, you can hunt back through your data and see at what point in time that this did happen. The G4 software, as I said before, is free. It's license free. It's really easy to use. It's intuitive. You can connect the meter via Bluetooth or USB to your computer to allow you to use the software. You can actually control the meter from the software itself, or the phone app, so you can start and stop recordings. You can also view all your sound recording data, play the files through the software, or these can be saved on your local computer as a WAV file, which allows you to put them into folders as you wish, or move them around, and you don't need to use the software to view these files. If you were sending the files to someone in another team that didn't have the software installed, they'd still be able to listen to the sound recordings, which is quite helpful. One benefit as well is that you can set up a custom setup file. So if you knew exactly how you want to set the meter up for how you do the testing in your organization, you can set a default file. This file can then be sent to one or multiple meters, or sent to multiple people to be able to set their meter up exactly the same as how you want it setting up, which is good if it was a case of management and they wanted to have a default setup to ensure everyone was doing the same testing. A really good function of the software as well is that you can do reports. These reports can be customized with your own logo, user location, job description. As you can see down here, there's tick boxes. You can include or exclude as much data as you would like. So you can make make it include the graphs or take away the graphs away. So you can make sure you can put as much data as in it or take away as much data as you like. It shows the stop and start date, also the pre and post calibration data, including the microphone sensitivity, which is really handy if you want to make sure the calibration was done before and after the testing, the meter was put on a test. And it's really handy to have in your records. This file can also be sent via PDF or email straight away from the software itself, which makes it handy for sending it to other people in your organization or whoever you want to send the file to. This is really, really good once you start playing with it. You can also set a template up for this to ensure everyone's using the same layout to make everything uniform when doing your testing. This is the Atlas phone app, which is a really good thing that you can do with the meter. So the Sound Expert, you connect straight to your phone. This is good for checking that the meter's running if you've locked the case and came away. Saves you opening the case again. You can also upload and check setups on this, view what the meter's doing. So we find it's really good. You can view the files as well, so you can get a quick idea of what the meter's doing. It's really handy to have sometimes. You can also set schedules of the meter, so it delayed start times and stuff like that. So it's quite a good feature to be able to use. We also have an environmental kit. This is really handy. The one good thing about the Sound Expert is that it uses very little power. So when we use an external battery, lithium-ion battery, this is able to power the unit for up to 14 days. It comes with a weatherproof case, a retractable monopole that's attached to the side of the case, so no tripod is needed. A microphone protection shield for when using the microphone outside. It's due to the use of only one battery for 14 days. The kit is quite light if you're putting it in remote areas or need to carry it across the field. So yeah, if you have any inquiries or any questions regarding the sound expert, please do not hesitate to contact me on the email address or the phone number below, on the screen. We can arrange a demonstration in person or on Teams. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Nick. Shall I mute your mic?
Turn on my sound. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for doing that. So let's move on to the settings, and we'll finish up with the meter download. There are just a few questions that I'd like just to answer. So someone just asked about, could they use rechargeable batteries in the 140? Not really, because they don't last very long. So they don't advise using rechargeables. You'd have to take them out, to be honest, and recharge them. So the answer is no. Some people have done it and it seemed to work okay, but I couldn't really recommend it. The newer meters that we have do have like rechargeable lithium batteries in, so that helps because they just recharge them when they're in the property. The message about the measurement file name not saving at the top of the meter, I'm not really sure why it hasn't done that. That could be just an older version of the meter just doesn't show it. Normally you just run a measurement and do the store record and it will do that for you. So yeah, I'm not too sure on that one, so we might have to come back to you on that. The memory cards that you can place into the meter, you can put generally we put a 2 gig memory card in, but you can go up to 16 gigabytes for later meters. And just make sure they're like a high-speed version of memory card. Don't use like the slow ones. But to be honest, nowadays you can't buy slow memory cards. To be honest, they're so fast nowadays. Most memory cards are more than capable. It's just as they're getting newer and newer, it's actually that the meter might not see some of these newer SD cards. So if you email us on the support line, we can tell you which one to go and buy. Yeah, and then someone asked me just about then the Larson Davis kit. You're doing that, so but yeah, Nick's on board with us. He's a technical guy. He really understands all this equipment and so on. So he's here helping us on the support, and he will help you on your Norsonic equipment as well. But as we know, customers will be moving to the newer instrument. So Nick's on hand to help you with that and provide you some training when you buy the kit, and we'll have guides and that in the future on our website. So we will be looking to transition to the newest equipment because it's a lot easier to support. The Norsonic equipment is coming to end of life. We can't actually get a lot of the parts anymore. Norsonic don't make them anymore. So things like the 140, I would say over the next year or two is going to be very hard to support when things start breaking because Norsonic don't hold the spares anymore. The meter's 20 years old now. It's just like like car parts. They just don't make them anymore. So yeah, but we will try and support you as much as we can. We're really good here that our engineers know how to take them apart and try and fix things, and we've got a lot of spares and so on here. So yeah, just reach out to us. Let's have a look at just the calibration. I just want to make sure that everybody was okay with the calibration. So I'm just going to place my calibrator on the end of the meter. So at the end of my measurement, I'm going to calibrate the meter by placing the calibrator on the end of the meter. I'm going to make sure it reads 114. And if it doesn't, then we would just press the cow button on the screen. And then we adjust it by using the ink or the deck key, these two keys here, until we get to 114. And then once you're happy with that, you just press the orange cow button again at the bottom to go back. And then you can take the calibrator off the end of the meter. So we've done our settings, which is the most important part. We know that our hand switch works. We know that when it starts, when we stop it, the file will be saved to the SD card. So I'll show you how to just download that now and listen back to the recording. I'll just double check the chat. Okay, nothing in there. Okay, so I'm going to take out the memory card from my meter. Normally I'd turn off the meter and take the memory card out just to make sure I don't lose any recordings. And I'm going to place the memory card in the computer. So normally on a lot of Windows computers, this memory card will appear here as the SD card. But unfortunately, because the 140 is quite an old meter, it's not normally possible just to kind of go through the files and just play back the recordings. But on some computers, it does seem to work. So you're welcome to try and just find the recordings, the audio files, and just double click them and play them. But ultimately, the actual proper way of doing this is through the software. So I'll show you this through NNR Review. Okay, just a quick question from Michael in the calibration, just that you were doing there. Just so you know, if you change the calibration settings, it does not adjust the actual data. So what I'm about to download now will not be changed by the calibration. So the software we need is this NNR Review software. So if you go to your start menu and go to NNR Review, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing of the software because it is very boring. I just want to cover the very basic part for you. And I've got lots of videos online that will take you through the advanced stuff, because this is the part where everybody wants to watch a video and then kind of go through it step by step. We want to download the measurement from our SD card. I've plugged in the SD card. I've now loaded up NNR Review from my start menu. And then I get this option here to transfer the measurement from the instrument. And once you're in here, you can go to Instruments and click Connect, and then go down to NNR 140 as the instrument, and then select SD card, and then press OK. And now we have the NNR 140 here. We have a date folder from today, and then we should have the measurement in there. And when you've got that measurement, it'll appear here. Not that I can see my measurement. It's now lost. Try again. So 140 connection, go to SD card. Okay, I wonder if this is because I've got two pages open. Okay, I'll start again. It isn't working. Right, the measurement didn't appear. Should have. Let's just make sure the file's there. So I'm not sure why that's not working. Let's start again. So go to the NNR Review. And go to transfer measurement again. Fingers crossed this time it actually works. Go to connect, so I press a little symbol up here. And then I'll scroll down to NNR 140 and scroll down to SD card and then press OK. Now the meter appears here. And there we go, it's working this time. It's just a Norsonic glitch. So if I go into that date folder, now I can see the measurements. And what you can do is just drag the measurement file onto the left-hand side and it will start downloading. And then you should have your graph, and then you'll have green bars at the top for listening to your audios. And I've got a list at the bottom called markers. If you can't see those markers, just go to marker and then marker management to turn it on. So marker management, and then you can see a list of the recordings. And then if you press the F2 key where the notes are, so I'm going to click on the recording that I want to make some notes next to, then we can start playing this and start making notes of what's happening. So we can mark this as dog barking, for example. We can zoom in on the graph if we want to. And this recording here, if we want to play it, we can press the play icon at the top. Or if you can't see that, if you just press the space bar, it will allow the recording to play. So mine's playing in Windows Media Player. I'll just listen to it now through my headphones, and then when I'm done, I can just close it. If you want, it can play through the software. So just if you go to Tools and Options, you can set it to NORA View Player instead of Windows Media Player. And then when I press play now, then the bar will just go across the actual screen and I'll start hearing the sound of the recording with the dogs barking. So you can mark this up if you want to. You can highlight an area with a sort of left click and a drag, and then you can insert a marker. So we could label this as barking if we wanted to with a color. And the idea is when you start listening to this recording and you hear times where the dog's barking, you can just keep adding the markers. You can start adding them to the list at the bottom and start counting how many times that dog's barked. So this now says 2 times over 20 seconds that the dog's barked for. So that's quite handy. You can just keep going through the measurement graph and mark up what you need. You could be someone banging, so then you mark up every time it's banged. So that's what the software's quite nice for. And then you can save this, go to File, and go Save Project As. And then pick somewhere on your network drive or your computer and give this a name. So like I might give it the property name. And you just need to tick this box on the bottom left, create a project name subfolder. So it will save everything into a folder with all the audio recordings, and you tap save and it will be there then on your computer with everything, all the measurement data and all the audio files for next time. Yeah, and then if you want to generate a Word document, then you can right click on the screen and click Generate Word. And it will copy the image of this into Word. And then you can start to copy and paste other parts of the graph in, or even if you want this part here with your notes, you can right click it, come down to here, and then paste this in. So this is just the basic use of the software for playing back. You will need to use NORA View, I think, most of the time to download and listen to the recordings. Unfortunately, the meter doesn't allow you to like play it straight off the SD card. So yeah, that's that. So let's have a look and just see if there's any questions. Does anyone have any questions that we need to answer? Okay, so the training videos for the download part. So in the chat, we've got the NOR 140 link on our website, but we also have a section specifically for the software. So under product support, we have one for NOR review here. So you can view the article and it will tell your IT team how to install it. And there is then some guides on how to use it. So there's a basic guide here. And this PDF you can download, just click this download button here. And then it will take you through step by step on what I've just shown you on how to download that file. So dragging it and so on, including setting up the settings. The NORA View software is used not only for the 140, but the 145 and the 150 as well. Okay. No more questions. All right. So that's the download process on the meter. Let's just show you the last thing about maybe you want to format your SD card. So I'll do that now. I've downloaded my measurement. So you can format the memory card in the meter, or you can do it on the computer. So if you're on the computer, I would normally just open up my computer, File Explorer, find the SD card, and then if you right click it, you can format the memory card. So click Format, and then just press Start, and it will format what's on the memory card. So this is generally the most straightforward way of doing it. But you can also do it on the meter itself. It's just a little bit tricky on the meter. Let me show you on the meter. So I'm going to place my SD card into the meter. So on the meter, if you wish to format the memory card, press the delete key on the keypad. And you need to switch the top menu, this INT to SDC. So press the ink or the deck. And then you need to highlight not on the right-hand side, but on the right-hand side. So you need to highlight, press the arrow left so it's highlighted on this measurement here. And then if you press the delete key again, you'll get the option to format the memory card. And if you press enter and confirm, maybe don't do this if you've got some recordings on there now, but then press confirm and then it will start saying working with SD card, and now that's formatted the memory card. So now you'll be able to deploy this to the residence property and know that you've got enough data on the meter to be able to complete the whole week of measurement. I think that is it on the general basic use of the meter, the downloading, the settings, the software. For any advanced users that want to show frequency, then you need to press button number 2, and this will show you the frequency screen. And this frequency allows you to see the sounds, so it's quite good for like tonal sounds or washing machines, that sort of stuff. And if you press the button number 2 again, it will just bring you back to that measurement screen. There is also just one other button, so you have button number 6. Oh, I need to start the measurement. Let me start it. So I'm starting the measurement now. There is button number 6, which shows you a graph if you ever want to see that. And that's just the levels going up and down. So the settings that you set today has set the meter so it logs all the values up and down on the meter, so that when you download it, you have this graph. And the idea is that when you press the hand switch, it will record the sound and the black bar appears when you start recording sound. And then you've got a full measurement here that you can look at. And it's press button number 6 to come back to this screen here. Okay. If there are any questions, I'm going to stop this measurement now. That's the end of the training. Are there any questions that I can help answer now before we go? I've got a few more minutes with you. I'm so happy to wait around. Yeah, we thank you for joining us for the 140. Next week, we will be covering the newer meters, the 145 and the 150. We wish you best of luck with your measurements. Remember to use our website for the guides. And yeah, we hope to see you soon. And if you're interested in learning more about the newer equipment, it's way easier. I have to say it's a lot easier than this Sonic downloads, which is actually probably one of the hardest parts. It's quite nice with the Larson Davis equipment because it's literally just connect your instrument and it just downloads automatically. You've got none of this faffing around. So I think you'll really like that in the future. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone. Hope everybody has a nice Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Let me show the support page.
No, it's okay now. I need to go and probably do some Christmas shopping now. I haven't got enough presents. I haven't got any presents. I better go.
Oh no.
I'm done. I've done the training. I better go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Julian. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. See you.